Okay, grade 10s, we are going to start a brand new exponent law today called negative exponent rule, or the negative rule. Again, it's not a big deal to me that you know the name of it, just how to use it. So the negative rule is something that we do as a last step. We never start with it, we only finish with it, and we don't even have to use it on every question. We use it with negative exponents only. If you have a negative coefficient, that's fine. You have to leave it as a negative coefficient. But if you have a negative exponent, this is when we use this rule. So, our final answer cannot have any negative exponents in it. Okay, negative coefficient, fine. Negative exponent, not fine. So here is the rule. If we have a negative exponent on the bottom, we flip and we bring it to the top. If we have a negative exponent on the top, we flip and we send it to the bottom. One moment, please. I'm about to die here. Okay, so I'm back. So here's what this looks like. Let me show you here. So I'm going to draw a base with a negative exponent on the top of a fraction and another base with a negative exponent on the bottom of a fraction. So again, we're not allowed to leave our answer with negative exponents. We have to leave them with positive. So if I have a negative exponent on the bottom, what I do is I bring it to the top. Now remember, bases never change. So your base is going to still stay as y, but that negative b is going to change to a positive b. If it's a negative on the top, the base stays the same, and the negative a becomes a positive a. And that's it. That's the negative rule. You just switch things upside down. You flip them over. So let's put this in practice. So the question will say, simplify, write these expressions with positive exponents. So x to the negative 5. So think of this as being over 1. You can make anything into a fraction by sticking it over 1. So right now it's negative on the top. So I'm going to bring it to the bottom. When I do that, the base stays the same. The negative 5 becomes positive 5. And now, because there's nothing left on top, I just put a 1 in as a placeholder. And that's it. 1 over x to the 5th. A cubed times b to the negative 2. Again, put it over 1 to make it into a fraction. Now, is the a cubed positive? Yes, it is. So leave it alone. So the a cubed is going to stay where it is. It's going to stay on top. Now the b negative 2 is negative on the top. So I'm going to bring it to the bottom. So the b stays the same. The bases don't change. And the negative 2 becomes positive 2. So here's my question to you. Can you subtract the 3 and the 2 because you're dividing? The answer is no, because the bases are not the same. So this is your final answer. Okay, so how does this look when we start using it with other rules? Okay, so remember, negative rule is something you do at the very end if necessary. So here, we've got powers touching. So when you've got powers touching, you times. So 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. And like I've said before, if you need to use your calculator, you're going to do that. So now you look at your answer and you ask yourself, do I have any negative exponents? Yes, I do. So it's negative on the top. So I'm going to bring it to the bottom. And then again, put the 1 in top. That's your final answer. Okay, now on this one, be careful. So again, do the regular exponent laws. You've got the same base. You're dividing. So what do you do with the exponents? You subtract. Now be very careful on your calculator. You're going to go 5 subtract negative 3. It's not 5 subtract 3, it's 5 subtract negative 3. So the base stays the same. What's 5 subtract negative 3? 8. And that's it. You're done. Because it's not negative anymore, so you don't need to switch it around. Now here's another way you could have done this question. You could have seen that you have a negative exponent on the bottom. So you could have gone, hey, I know what to do with that. I'm going to bring it to the top. So the x to the 5 is already positive. Leave it alone. The negative 3 is going to come to the top now, and it's going to become positive 3. So now you've got two x's on the top. They're multiplying. So what do you do with the exponents? You add them. Okay, so the nice thing about exponent laws is that there's no real order that you have to do them in. You could choose to do the rules in different orders and the answers will still work out. The only thing that you have to do is follow BEDMAS. You have to do brackets before exponents, before divide, before multiply, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's look at this guy. So again, this is a power rule. So everything is going to be affected by that power. So you're going to go negative 3 times negative 4. And then for the b, 4 times negative 4. So negative 3 times negative 4 is 12. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Now again, imagine that over 1. So the a is good, the b is not. So leave the a12 on the top, and the b16 is going to go to the bottom, and now it's going to be positive. And that's your final answer. Okay, so like I said before, there's a couple ways to do these questions. I'm going to do this one twice, okay? So what some of you may choose to do, I'm just going to write it out bigger so that I have room to write here. I'm just going to put all my ones in. So what some of you might see when you see this question, some of you might see this. You might focus inside the brackets and you'll say, hey, I've got the same base, I'm dividing, so I'm going to subtract my exponents. I'm going to go 2 subtract 1, and then here 1 subtract, so again 1 subtract negative 1 is 2. Now I'm going to deal with that power. So I'm going to multiply it in. So 1 times 2, 2 times 2. I don't end up with any negative exponents, so that's my final answer. So that's the first option. Okay, so you could have done it that way and that would be all right. So let me show you another way that you could have done it. So just give me a second here to erase everything. This takes me a second, I apologize. This program does not have the best eraser on it. So another option is to say, okay, I'm going to bring this 2 into everything. So I'm going to go S, T, S, T. So 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Now, I'm going to see it as a divide question. So when I divide, I'm going to subtract the exponents. So I'm going to go 4 take away 2, and then 2 take away negative 2. Right? You're going to subtract the exponents. Well, 4 take away 2 is 2. 2 take away negative 2 is positive 4. So you end up with the exact same answer. So 2 entirely different ways of doing that question, but they both end up at the exact same answer. Okay? Okay, so that almost concludes pretty much our exponent laws, but now you're going to just do a whole bunch of practice. So we're going to take the next couple lessons to do a whole bunch of practice, go through all the questions together, really have you practicing this stuff lots and lots, get you super good at it, and then we've got one more last concept left to do on exponent laws, and then that actually wraps up our first unit, and so we will go from there. Okay? As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.